Wow, wow, wow. We have made it to the very last segment of the Elevate series. And I want to thank you for watching me live. For those of you who are doing that, I wish that you could drop some comment in chat to let me know you're here because I won't be able to know otherwise. So just say, hi, Amber, or yes, I hear you, something. But I'm celebrating with those of you who are watching this live, as well as those who will be inevitably watching the replay too. I in a moment like this, when you're coming out on stage to say, here's everything that I've learned, this is the digest, and here's what I really need you to know moving forward. That is what this segment is all about. We'll be here for about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit less. And please drop any questions that you have into the chat. If I have time, I would love to answer your questions live because I don't know about you, but I had a ton of questions that were coming up, especially in my quiet reflection time. For those of you who are catching sort of the tail end of this experience, you can go to ambervilhauer.com/elevate. You'll be able to see all of the conversations that I've been hosting over the last 3 weeks with some of the most brilliant, innovative, forward-thinking, successful entrepreneurs in my network. And as you can see, I have a pretty great network, which I'm really grateful for. Many of them offered you bonuses. You can simply come up here and we will email you access to those bonuses. It's less about the opt-in, so unsubscribe if you want to. It's more about just get the content, please, and share it with others, because I think we are in the middle of a truly unprecedented time. And I know a lot of people inflate and use moments like this for their own marketing purposes and gain. And I'm not one of those individuals. In fact, going live and showing up in this way is not the most natural thing in the world for me. Growing up for the first 17 years of my life, I learned that it was safer to be invisible, because anytime that I was heard and seen, bad things would happen. Either I would get punished, I wouldn't do well in my classroom, I wasn't well liked on the playground. That manifested into some really ugly name calling in middle school, bullying that ensued. I was the girl that used to eat lunch in the bathroom stalls to avoid getting harassed. And even to the point when I was 16 years old, I finally stood up for a friend and shared a truth because I thought morally it was the right thing to do. And that resulted in me getting jumped by 5 girls at a party so I could learn my lesson. So as you can see, I had a lot of evidence to support don't use your voice. And yet here I am anyway. Now, why the heck would I do that? It was about 6 weeks ago that I was in Carmel by the Sea, California. I'd never even been there. And actually, just to be cheeky and fun, it was AI that gave me the suggestion to go to Carmel by the Sea. I'd never heard of it before. And when I was there on the beach, really reflecting what is next for me, because I had launches, I had programs, I had my whole marketing calendar planned, all the plans, right? But it was a few weeks prior to that I was on a call with a client, a one-on-one coaching client. I'm a business strategist, for those of you that don't know, and I launch best-selling books. And I was on a call with a client, and I was learning about the challenges that they were having in their business. And for whatever reason, it was like all the stars aligned in that moment. And I was able to make connections from several weeks prior and then several years prior. And all of a sudden, this like awareness came over me that this moment in time felt very similar as to the time when the news of COVID first broke. Now, if you remember back, it seemingly was like overnight that there was this global announcement of the pandemic. And for the first week and a half, 2 weeks, it felt like time stood still. It was the most eerie feeling I could almost experience in my lifetime. It was so weird. It was very eerie. And I remember the days just felt like they lasted forever. And then about 2 to 3 weeks in, something shifted, and it was like so fast. It was like the speed of light or something, about how fast everything was accelerating. And I just remember thinking, I'm barely hanging on for dear life. And that feeling is something that I experienced for at least the next 2 years, where my company grew by 80% each year. We hit the Inc. 5000 list. And I remember it feeling like I'm just hanging on for dear life, trying to help as many people as I could. And a lot of other entrepreneurs felt that same thing. So now here we are. I'm on the phone with this client. And I thought, oh my gosh, everything is so still again. That same eerie feeling came back. So then I went to Carmel by the Sea and I'm thinking, what is trying to emerge? Like, what's happening right now? And I started to interview the people that I was around. Like, I'm not kidding you. Some of you might have heard this because I've been talking about it, but I took an Uber. I was taking an Uber to a breakfast. It was like overlooking the beach. And I said, hey, so what are you observing as an Uber driver? Like, you have an interesting vantage point on the world and what's going on. And he just poured his heart out and said how honestly, it's shifted a lot just in the last like 60 days. He said his business was down more than 30%, which was extreme in that kind of touristy environment. He said that people were acting entitled, rude, not treating him like a human being that might have feelings and emotions or like cares or thoughts. And he said, I'm actually really concerned because I don't know what to do. I don't see this getting better anytime soon. And a lot of the other local businesses in that area were seriously dropping in revenue. And the start of the tourist season hadn't happened. And they were all kind of panicking. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. And I was looking at how that mirrors some of the data that I had from other people in my network and different communities. I'm plugged in all over the place. And at that time, many to most of the entrepreneurs were reporting revenue loss of anywhere from 20 to 50% just in the last, like the previous 45 days. That's insane. That's insane. So then I'm talking to this woman who was telling me about how her business is going down and how people's soft skills were no longer, a thing, and how she was really concerned about what was going on with people, especially in the way they were treating each other. And I thought, gosh, this is so interesting. And again, I'll remind you, this was 6 weeks ago that all of this happened. So I'm flying back to Denver and it just hit me. You need to go live with the Elevate series again, because I did that in 2020, right when COVID broke. I got this crazy instinct, go live. And I thought, go live and say what? I don't want to go live. Like, I don't know what's going on. Who do I think I am? Go live. But I did. And it was so powerful the way that we were able to create community, positivity, and change. We didn't just shrink, we won. So now, 6 weeks ago, that feeling dropped in again. You need to go live again with the Elevate series. And I'm thinking, what about my marketing plans? What about the launches I have? What about all of these things? And it was so clear. It was like, clear the schedule, go live. So I did. I pulled a whole new lineup of speakers and I reached out to my friends and said, we're doing this. And here's the deal. I want to have conversations with you as if I'm just catching up with you as a friend. Don't you dare hold anything back. I want data. I want statistics. I want facts. I want to know what's really going on, because the people that were the speakers for this series are deeply plugged into networks that you're like not even aware of. I'm not even aware of probably half of them. So I just felt like if anybody would know what's really going on beneath the CNN headlines, it's these folks. So we went live. In fact, we went live in less than 2 weeks after that idea on the plane ride home. It happened very, very fast. And I want to read to you some of the data points that came in through several of the interviews, because I know you probably don't have hours and hours and hours to listen to all of the recordings, though. Honestly, I really hope you do. And on the Elevate webpage, I did give you all the transcripts as well. But I'm telling you, I feel like I got the biggest gift by being the one to facilitate these conversations, because they were so rich. And I have to start with Ryan Levesque, 7-time Inc. 5000 CEO of the Ask Method. Like, I can't even wrap my brain around how difficult it must have been to scale to hit that kind of an achievement. And Ryan details for nearly 15 minutes. It was the very first interview that we did three and a half weeks ago. And he said there, he likes to look at the macro. That's where he likes to live. And again, please drop any questions into chat so that I know that you're here. He said there are three major converging forces right now that are reshaping our world. The first is the big cycle, which is an 80 to 100 year debt cycle that coincides with America's decline as the global superpower. And he went on and on about that. He talked about the rise of AI, and that technological shift. And third, he talked about the great simplification, which is the depletion of fossil fuels as we approach peak oil, where it takes more energy to extract the oil than we actually get from it. So these three converging facts are coming in and causing quite the stir. Now, I will say with Ryan, what I also really appreciated is that he said he's a contrarian and encourages you to be one too. So if everybody is going this direction, he's going to go over here. And that's a theme that we'll revisit deeper into our conversation today. Justin Donald, 9-figure net worth investor, says the largest wealth transfer in history is currently underway, with baby boomers passing an estimated $80 to $150 trillion. And they're transferring that to millennials over the next 5 to 15 years, which is a sum larger than the GDP of China. And so just thinking of the ramifications of that change alone. He went on to talk about how owning assets is more important than cash, and he details why. Had a great conversation on AI on his as well. I think of Ashish Katari, who was a McKinsey partner, 17-year consultant. He had some really interesting data points, one of which from Business Insider. 80% of businesses that import from China are expected to go under due to recent tariff changes, which is an existential threat to a significant portion of the economy, for sure. I even was just reading an article today talking about how small businesses are standing by and willing to go under before they're willing to change and increase their prices so that they can afford to bring their inventory in from China. They would rather go under than charge you more, because they care so much about their community, because it was the community that allowed them to grow and get to this point to begin with. So they're not going to go back and charge their community higher fees because of what's going on in politics. And wow, that spoke to me so much. It really hit a chord, because I have to tell you, as an entrepreneur myself, I understand that sentiment. I want to protect the people that got me to where I am in my career, all of the achievements and the badges and the awards and everything else. I deeply love my clients and the people that have been supporting me. So I can understand. I mean, it was just really hit me through a different lens today of the choice that we all have right now. Are you going to jump on the bandwagon, or are you going to do what is morally right for you? I mean, that's really talk about macro and all of these different layers of topics. That's what it's really going to come down to. I've been really shocked just in the last 4 to 5 days of the way that my industry, the internet marketing industry, has been adopting AI and rolling it out. Many people are creating bots of themselves, right? Imagine an Amber bot that you could have as your coach. They're charging anywhere from, $100 a month up to $1,000 or $2,000 a month to get access to these bots. And, I did a lot of deep research this weekend. I explored a lot of different models for it. And I was really trying to sit with what feels right for me, what feels right for my future, because it's not just about my personal gain as an entrepreneur. The decisions that I make in this moment impact all of the people around me, not just my team, not just my clients, not just my followers, but all of the other people out there that need my support and don't know it yet, or don't even know that an Amber Vilhauer exists, past clients, it affects everything. So I want to make sure that I'm being really responsible in this moment. Yes, there's a part of me that feels like I'm sprinting on a treadmill that's never going to stop. There's no way of catching my breath. I feel that, and it's very intense. I feel absolutely that stress potential, that hysteria potential. I feel that fear potential. It's all right there. The second I want to access it, I could take myself down, right? But I also just, I want to make sure that, again, I'm being responsible in this moment and not getting caught up in it. Because what I see happening is this wildfire of entrepreneurs that are like, oh my gosh, we have to hurry up and get the first adopter advantage. And we've got to make a bot and we have to change our model and do all of these things. In my experience, when you make decisions from a place of extreme thinking, rash thinking, the sky is falling, Godzilla's coming thinking, it doesn't usually go well. At least if you're me. But the times that I thought, okay, I'm going to step back for a moment. I'm going to disassociate for just a second. And I'm going to look at, what do I believe? What is real? And I have to give such a shout out to Joshua Berry, one of our Elevate speakers. His book, Dare to be Naive, asks you 4 questions that really help you challenge what your brain is thinking, right, out of protection, and what you really believe. And just to take a beat, just a single beat, and reflect on what those beliefs are and what you want to do as a result of them. So I try to do that too. I disassociate and think, okay, what is true about this situation? It is true that Goldman Sachs published a report saying that by the year 2030, this is 4.5 years from now, 300 million jobs will be replaced by AI. It is true that Dell Technologies published a report saying 85% of the jobs that will be on the market by 2030 have not been invented yet. Interesting data points. It is true that big influencers are saying their businesses are closed forever, and now they're coming out with their AI technology, and it is happening fast. And I'm seeing all the various models for it. It's actually really fun to study this. And I'm going to be sharing more and more details about this as the weeks go on, since we don't have as much time here today. But I know that's a true data point too. Okay, so what are the data points that are out there? Then what do I choose to believe about that data? So as we go deeper into the Elevate series, I think a lot of what was interesting is this idea of AI is not going to replace me. I am irreplaceable, which honestly feels like contrarian to some of the data points that we've heard, right? And what our brains will tell us. But they're saying AI cannot replace me. That's where we need to have the conversation. What makes me uniquely me? And I really encourage you to ask yourself that. What makes me uniquely me? Maybe it's your funny laugh. Maybe it is your poetic language delivery. Maybe it's your hand movements. Maybe it's that your eyes get all big. Maybe it's that you lean in. Maybe it's that you're very thoughtful and slow in your delivery, or really hyped up and energetic like me. What is it that makes you unique? And then thinking, how can I amplify that in a way that AI can't rob from me? How can I amplify that through the use of technology potentially? Or how can I get AI to do other things that it can do, like it's a little doer bee? And meanwhile, I amplify what's unique about me. So that's where, like, about midway through the Elevate series, I started putting more of my intentionality on what wants to be created in this moment, not, oh my gosh, I should hurry up and get on the bandwagon, create my own AI technology thing. And listen, I use AI every single day. Every single day I use it and love it. But what I have done ever since last year is I said, AI will never replace my voice. It's never going to replace my voice. I refuse to let that happen. And I even went so far as on my book here, Infinite Impact, I put a little tab here that says human made on my book, front and center. Now, a year ago, people are like, what does that mean? Now you know exactly what it means. I wrote every single word of that book, and I encourage authors to do exactly the same. And let me see if there's any, I mean, gosh, I could go on and on. According to Harvard, only 20% of the leaders today are at a stage of development that allows them to thrive in this economic complexity, while 80% can barely survive. Brian McMahon talking about him building AI cities. I was like, what the heck is an AI city? David Meltzer talking about how 98% of people quit in tough times. Jen Gaudet talking about her whole AI adoption and integration rollout phase, which is Jen and I are partnering up in the week of June 23rd. We are going to be doing a deep dive AI workshop where I'm coming in with everything that I'm doing and what I've learned, how I've used that in my company. And then she's coming in and doing the same. So that's you want to just get on my email list and then you won't miss it. And again, you can do that on the Elevate website. I also thought Dr. Sean Dill said by the end of 2025, that's this year, ChatGPT will surpass Google as the #1 search source in the world. And he was talking about what he's doing to feed the search engine, ChatGPT, so that he is found organically that way through people searching and compiling data. Really interesting stuff. So guys, you have to go and check out these interviews. They were fantastic. And for this to all have come together the way it did 5 weeks ago was when the idea came in. Now we have completed all of these interviews, all available to you. And I want to talk to you about what's next. I'm not selling anything. I'm just talking to you. What's next? #1, I'm actually going on a vacation for the rest of this week. I'll still be a little plugged in, but I'm taking my little cutie pie 8-year-old to a really neat vacation, a lot of like hiking and togetherness and going to the ocean and just being together, to just see kind of in some ways what's next and also allow for integration time. We don't do that as much as entrepreneurs, especially not in seasons like this. But as we spoke about with Dr. Ryan Williamson and Dr. Tiwa, it is more important now than ever before to take care of your body. Take care of your body and your mind. And that means that we need more integration time. You've been learning so much. I know like in the last 3 weeks, I've learned so much. It feels like my head's going to explode. So that means that I need to give my body time to like let that process and let it integrate. When I do that, I recover. And it's in that recovery that allows me to be more resilient, stronger, more energetic, focused, clear, and it accelerates my ability to produce. So I encourage you to really look ahead at like, how much information have I been absorbing? What do I need to do to not exit the game, but to just take a beat, quick one, because we don't have time to waste right now. Take a quick beat and allow that information to integrate, allow it to process. What am I doing to recover so that I can be sharper and better for my business, for my family, for my community moving forward? That's a really important part. When I get back next week, I am finishing a report that I've been working on. And it is based off of the facts and findings from Elevate series on top of all of the other research and conversations that I've been having that I haven't told anybody about publicly. I've been a little maniac. So like, it was funny last week, people started calling me Amber AI, which was so cute. I felt like we should do something with this. I don't know, like give me a sticker or something. It just was kind of funny. But all to say, I'm compiling a report and it's just a white paper like old school internet marketing days. And it's going to say, here's the data. This is the part that you should focus on and where we're going. And I don't want to tease you too much about that. I mean, I'll just share publicly here, and then please, you've got to stay tuned. You've got to find a way to email me, DM me, whatever, to say, I want access to this report when it's out, because it's going to be one of the most important things that I've ever written in my career. So I want to make sure that you get access to that. Sorry, I just got a little message there. So I'm focused on that report. And part of what I'm going to be illustrating in the report is where I hope that you can start putting more of your focus, put some of the blinders on to some of what's happening. Not all the way, but just like put the shade on by like 90%. Okay. Because you got to protect yourself. And so be very careful about who you're following in social media and how often you're following those people on social media. Where are you getting that recovery time, right? But all to say, I keep losing my train of thought. I got a message about my son, and it distracted me. I apologize. So all to say, in this report, what I'll end up doing is talking about the two different worlds that are happening, that in my observation. One is the people that are adopting AI and using it fully as a technology tool that is going to replace a lot of their own business. The other camp, they're using AI a little bit, but they're like, I'm not going extreme with this. Like, I don't know about AI, or I'm resistant of what it's going to do in the future. These are kind of the two main worlds. I'm proposing, and there are a couple others that are proposing something in the middle. If you have human intelligence and you have artificial intelligence, this is where maybe most of the conversation is right now. We have a big gap missing, though, between these two. The third is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. This is our ability to read through the lines of communication. This is our ability to be empathetic and compassionate, not in the way that AI just called me honey yesterday, by the way. Like, what? But really, in a way that only human to human, when I'm sitting across from you in a Zoom meeting and I look at you and I smile and I can see right through you, and I can call out, I can like pull out what significance you have inside of you. And those who've worked with me, you know, I do this and I do it quickly. I can see right through you, pull out the significance that's wanting to emerge, reflect it back to you and say, here, this is the message. This is what you're here to represent based on your life experiences. And my clients are like, how did you know that? Whoa. Emotional intelligence. I have honed the skill of my intuition and my emotions, my emotional guidance system, to be able to pick up on what's not really there, what's not being said, right? And when I couple that with my brain, 20 years of strategic, achievement in my industry, and I get to introduce AI into that, not as a way of replacing my voice, but making me 10 times better as a strategist, the way I'm working with it. AI is only as good as the context you give it and the quality of the questions that you ask. And most people struggle with those two things. But I am very good at uploading the right type of context to AI. And I am very good at knowing what questions to ask so that my accuracy is insane. And these are things that I'm going to be teaching you throughout the summer if you stay connected with me. Especially, I'll mention, let's share the screen again here. All of this is culminating. Let's see. Nope. Hang on one second. Technology, yeah? Here we go. A lot of what's culminating here, nobody really knows this yet, just a small handful of people do, but I'm going to be getting more vocal about it, as I am going to be hosting an in-person summit that's an extension of the Elevate series, September 10th through 12th in Boulder, Colorado. You can go here and learn a little bit more about why I created this event. Several of our Elevate speakers are going to be attending and speaking on stage, so you can look forward to that. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is only because I was talking about AI integration and teaching that to you. And I am going deep in teaching that at that summit, as just one other way that you can kind of stay plugged in. But really, the future of NG, I'm not creating an Amber bot. I'm not uploading all of my course content. What I'm doing is working with authors, double down, working with authors and speakers and coaches, especially, gosh, you poor coaches out there. We've got to help you understand how to marry your human intelligence, AI, with this emotional intelligence, because coaches are going to be one of the fastest industries to start dropping. It's already happening because AI has compiled a lot of that information. In fact, it's crazy to me. Harvard Business Review, I just saw this a couple of days ago, compared how people were using AI in 2024 as compared to now. In 2024, they were using it largely to like generate ideas. Now, the number one way that people use AI, therapy. Number one is therapy and companionship. So I have a special heart right now for coaches, business coaches, life coaches, parenting coaches. I want to help you understand your unique positioning, similar to what I'm talking about. How do we get that significance, that voice and message inside of you that's so deep you don't even know where it is? You sense it's there, but you're having a hard time extracting it. I can do that quickly. It's a superpower that I have. Then we marry that with strategy, emotional intelligence, your voice and your unique delivery, and trusting that and amplifying that. That's your uniqueness. Then let's mix in a little bit of AI where it makes sense. We're doing it thoughtfully and strategically to then explode that voice of yours so that you become the authority in your industry during this time when everybody else is distracted over here. This is the contrarian view that Ryan Levesque was talking about. It's one of them. And that's what NGNG is focused on moving forward. You're here to hear about it first. So next week, I'm going to deliver that report. The week after, I am opening up its final registration for early bird for the Elevate Entrepreneurship Summit. I also have a group coaching program that's starting this summer based on my bestseller book launch work. It's a 3-month container. And other than that, I'm here for you. Dave Moreno, we've been talking about starting up a 30-minute weekly live stream where he and I are kind of going toe to toe for entrepreneurs. So shout out to you, Dave. We are talking about getting that started maybe in a few weeks. And then I have some other big name business owners that were frustrated and bummed that they couldn't fit within the schedule constraints of the Elevate series. So who knows, there might be an extra surprise or two live stream conversation coming up in the next month or two with those individuals. But for now, I just wanted to offer you some conclusion to the Elevate series and myself. I mean, this was a roller coaster. It was a lot of energy input. I want to give a huge thank you to my team, especially Megan O'Malley, who's been sitting here on almost every single session. Alexis Snell was also here on one, and she's just been a remarkable behind the scenes. I want to thank Stu and Adrene on our social media for keeping up with me, which is not easy to do. And they've done such a great job of trying to find the best, sound bites from each interview to deliver that out to you and to honor our speakers. And I want to thank the rest of my team, Jess, Katrina, Tanya, Aiden, et cetera, Miguel, just everybody, because without them, I couldn't do what I do in the world. And it's meaningful because I know that the rave reviews pour in, and I appreciate that. But every single time I get a positive comment, I put it in our team chat so everybody can appreciate that comment, because it's not just me, it's everybody who stands with me. And for those of you that are listening and have been tuning in, that extends to you too, because I wouldn't be here if you weren't going out and letting your friends and family and networks and community and clients know about me and the work that I'm trying to get out into the world. We truly are better together. Many of the speakers said that the number one thing that you should be focused on is network, your community. And what I loved about Brian Kramer today, and we'll wrap here, is that it's not just about your network and getting more clients. Who are you hiring to be your team of support so that you are recovering well, you are taking optimal care of yourself, that you don't feel like you have to learn how to use AI perfectly, but you're aligned with other people who just know how to do it for you. You're aligned with other people who know to amplify your greatness and uniqueness so that you get to go do what you're uniquely best at. So AI is not here to replace all of us. It's going to replace many. It just is. It's going to replace many people that don't have the right support network, that aren't, understanding their uniqueness. There's too much resistance built around it. They don't know how to use their voice. They don't believe in themselves. Those are individuals that are really going to be in trouble right now. But if there's anything that I can personally do to support you, please reach out at any time. I'm here for you. I'm here to hold this container. I hope you go look at the Elevate Entrepreneurship Summit if you want to meet in person, if you want to rub shoulders and elbows or whatever with our speakers, and really be a part of an aligned community that's going to a beautiful place as a result of technology not being replaced by technology. I'd love to hear your comments. Thank you so much again. We'll see you next week.